Yo, what it do, chat? How's everyone doing? Welcome to another episode with your boy, TraderPrad. I see Dieter in the chat. I see ZZZZZ's in the chat. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you had a wonderful Thursday. Yes, sadly, it is the final episode of this week, but we'll be back next week. How did today's go? Today, sadly, not so good for me. The market chopped me up, boy. Chopsticks all over the place. Pretty bad week overall. Every single day of this week has been red, and pretty much turned my whole month back to red. I think either flat or red I turned my whole month back to. So that sucks. It sucks to lose 2 weeks worth of progress in 1 week, in basically 2 days. Tuesday and today. In 2 days I basically lost 2 weeks worth of progress. Didn't feel good at all. Wasn't feeling good on the way home. Wasn't feeling good while doing it, while trading. So overall, that's how my day went. But we're okay. We're fine. Flat or forward. So we're basically back to flat or somewhat red back on the month. But we can hopefully turn that around. We still have 1 more week left. We still have 1 more day left. We could turn it all around tomorrow and kind of maybe turn this week into green week. We've had 2 green weeks so far. It'll be sad to see this week turn red, but we still have 1 more day left to see if we can kind of turn that around and at least end it at flat or somehow get back to red or green tomorrow. In regards to my trades, I traded so many tickers today, so we'll kind of go through some of these tickers because of the sheer amount of tickers that I traded today. I think it'll be way too time consuming to go through all of them properly, so we'll just like skim through all of these trades. I'll walk you through what my thinking was when I was taking a certain trade and what really happened, and then from there we'll go over to the watch list on the day, which is a little smaller than usual, keeping it tight, keeping it to very concise list of stocks that I want to keep on watching. So we'll go through that watch list for tomorrow, and then we'll watch a quick little S&B Capital video on how to exit our trades better, because that's a problem that I've been having for a long time now. I always get myself into a good winning trade, but I never really managed to see the trade out, or at least hold it for the proper move. So how to exit trades better. So we're gonna watch that video at the end of the day today and kind of wrap it off with that. So hopefully you will stay along for the whole ride for this fun little stream that we're gonna have together for the rest of the day. Over here I see TH and Michael Storm back in the chat. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How you guys doing? Bitcoin chopped me up, says Z. I understand the pain today. Number 6 Gunslinger, says TH, like number 6. Hey, thank you for the like, my friends. Appreciate everybody who has been hitting the like and subscribe buttons and all that other fun stuff to help me with that YouTube algorithm. You guys like my hoodie? It's a Super Bowl. L is what, 50 no, I don't know. Either way, I think this is the one that the Super Bowl that Kansas City won. But hey, I like the city. Nice little hoodie. I dropped a little thing on here. Let me get that off my hoodie over here so I can keep it nice and pristine. There you go. Just in case my friend Greg is watching. That's right. Here you go. I wore the hoodie today, and I wore the hat that you also love so much. But maybe this hat is not the right call because it's so anti advertisements. We're trying to get the advertising money, baby. Okay, anyways, all that nonsense and garbage out of the way. Let's get right into the fun stuff. Let's get started with the stock market talk, everything that we have planned for today, and dive into all that other stonks related topics. So going over here with my trades on the day today, starting with the winners, and we'll go to the losers. See how many tabs I have open. That's the amount of tickers that we traded today. So it was just a ridiculous amount of tickers. Maybe a little bit of over trading, maybe a little bit of FOMO trading, maybe looking to make some money back on the other stocks that I lost on the other positions and so on. So just way too much all over the place. Just happy that the loss wasn't much bigger. It could have been. So let's talk about this. Boeing, my most profitable trade on the day. how did the stock end up being into that spot? So Boeing to start the day has been just on an insane tear to the north side. Obviously some sort of an FAA catalyst coming in and helping Boeing over here, actually moving right into the high that it made a couple days ago when that downward spiral for the stock started. So going right back into that high, I saw this little bit of a red candle show up, so I got short on that red candle and I gave it an arbitrary stop of 50 cents or so. Later on, after the stock stalls out and starts moving back down, I get back short. Now I have a defined risk. The risk was about $1. Now I have a defined actionable stop, a stop where the stock is showing me that sellers are coming back into this trade after a monster rip all throughout the day. So seeing that, I jump back into the trade, having a defined stop over here. I thought I had a defined stop. I didn't really have a defined stop, nor did I stick to it. But later on, I get into it, $1 risk, and I'm basically holding it for a nice $2 move to the downside. Was expecting maybe a bigger move, but that move never really came in, and the stall out over here into 208.50s, I end up punching out my trade, taking profit after seeing that the stock doesn't really want to go too much below today's VWAP and basically hold the trend that it was holding on for the whole day. So Boeing, beautiful short, quick little scalp, back to reversal, back to VWAP reversal, back to the mean reversion basically type of situation over here on BA. Now, the next stock, Alcoa AA. We were talking about this last night. It was on our watch list. We prepared for the possible breakout of yesterday's high and then a pullback and hold of yesterday's high. That's exactly what the stock does. It breaks out of yesterday's high, pulls back, holds the area. So I get into some longs. I scalp my longs out. I get back in. I get back out. I get back in. I get back out. So I'm trying to do some overall, trying to see if the stock will have a bigger move. But exactly where the stock stalls out happens to be where yesterday's not that many A's, happens to be exactly where the after hour earnings high was. So we kind of expected that, right? We knew that this could show up as a barrier. We've seen the expected move already in the after hours. So if the stock does manage to pull back above or pull through yesterday's high and show a support above yesterday's high, maybe the most we can get out of this trade is right around over here. However, I do still try to juice the stock a little bit and see if I can get a bigger move more than that. Ends up being a nice little triple top over here, and the stock does flush right back to the downside. So I end up taking my profits and walk away from this trade. Overall, profitable trade. We stuck to our game plan, and that's where the money comes from. Sticking to your game plan. We'll talk about how not sticking to your game plan will obviously come and hurt you every single day, and that will go into the next half, in the second half of these trades once we show you where trading stocks that don't even have a game plan and trading stocks that do have a game plan are just completely different. So AA over there having a game plan, executing off that game plan, making that sweet dollars off of it. Morgan Stanley, we prep for this stock too yesterday. We were waiting to see how the stock would behave. Ooh, what the hell? We were waiting to see how the stock would behave into yesterday's low. It pulls into yesterday's low, breaks yesterday's low, pops up, but on that pop, instantly met with more of a flush to the downside. So on that pop, I take my fill. I tried to get fancy over here, take more size on the breakdown. Sadly, that breakdown doesn't really have too much of a wiggle room to the downside. So when the stock comes back through my entry, I just end up closing the whole position and end up basically being flat on the entry from here and taking profits on the entry from there. Overall profitable trade on Morgan Stanley was a simple, what would the stock do after pushing into yesterday's low? It opened up near yesterday's high, found a little bit of a bounce / support into $84, but then managed to eventually, when the market was, kangarooing around and going to the downside, managed to take Morgan Stanley into yesterday's low, not taking the breakout, right? Not taking the breakout. That candle right there where the cursor is was the breakout of yesterday's low. Not taking that, but waiting for a pullback and then show me selling back on that pullback for me to get back into. So getting back in there, seeing the stock not really have a chance to get back above 84. That's where we got short and kind of rode it to a nice little move to the downside. Almost what? Had I not taken that entry, I would have basically gotten out somewhere over here, and we would have gotten about like 60 cents or so. Is that right? Yes, about 60-ish pennies from there. So profitable trade. Nice little scalp to the downside on the break of yesterday's low and continuation. This stock over here is this one hurts. This one hurts because it was a good trade. It was a good trade. We planned for this one yesterday. We talked about this range that Goldman Sachs has been holding for quite a bit now, even after the earnings report, which was kind of positive, right? Actually, not kind of, hugely positive, because they ended up beating EPS with a big amount. So after that earnings report, it flushes and ends up holding the same area. And ever since that day, at least, I guess the next 2 days, which is today and yesterday, we've been holding that same bottom. We keep testing that low of 374. We hold that 374 area and we pop right back up. We missed the trade over here on this day. We missed the trade over here on this day, but on here on the third day, I didn't really want to miss it. So on the move down, actually, Dieter, one of our viewers, one of my close friends, also an active member on Discord, messaged me and he goes, what do you think about Goldman Sachs? It's going to that level that you were talking about. And I was like, okay, you know what, you're not wrong. And it also looks like a Bella scalp, which is basically a trend line break. If you were to draw somewhat of a trend line right there, that trend line is breaking on the 5-minute chart, and we are finding some sort of a support, some buying coming in at yesterday's low. It's actually a little bit higher than yesterday's low, so why not try to get into that long? So after the stock shows me a little bit of buying, pulls back, and a higher low comes in, that's where I get long, and then I try to add on the little bit of a breakout of this area. It wasn't really a breakout. It does drop down. I think I told Dieter, I don't care if it breaks the low a day. My stop is still 374. I'm giving the stock a whole $1 worth of risk. My hard stop is 374. I'll maybe think about cutting my size down on the break of 374.50, but not closing the whole trade. The whole trade closes on the break of 374 or somewhere below there. So noticing the stock never really going there. It tried to shake out the stops over here, but managed to pop right back up. But on the pop, still struggling in that same area. So I take some profits, and then I managed to just decide I'll close the trade overall, missing out on the trade that we were looking for, which is the move right back to today's VWAP. And it does it again. Another day, another hold of that level, and another move right back into VWAP. So the trade idea was there. It's just execution was a little emotional, probably. It was a little revenge trading based on how I was trading other positions today. This was also later on in the day, after I take my beating on AMD, and actually I didn't get a beating on AMD till later on, but this was me taking positions later on after I take a beating on TSM. So a little bit of emotional, a little bit of trading PNL, not really trading the setup, not really, respecting the setup. So all things bleed into not managing this trade properly, sadly. So Goldman Sachs over here, good trade, bad management. Next one, Juniper, you guys don't really need to see that one. We'll move on from there. You won't understand that one, or at least you won't be able to capitalize on that setup even if I talk about it. So we'll move on from there, and we'll go to a chip stock. The chip sector, very much hot. It is the hot sector. Recently, the hot sector was the cryptocurrency sector with the ETF news and everything that was going on. But now it's the chip sector with AMD pushing into the all-time highs and actually taking out the all-time highs. TSM's earnings report, which was positive. NVDA, which is clearly taking out all-time highs every single day. So watching these stocks over here, the chip sector, Marvell actually popped up to the north side too. Not sure if Marvell actually had its own catalyst, but I noticed that the stock was holding some sort of a trend. If you were to draw a trend line down over here, you will see that this trend is kind of being respected. So on the move back down, on the drop of that trend line, and after it shows me a little bit of buying off that trend line, that's where I get in with the stop somewhere down over here. The stock pushes into the day's high, clearly double top, triple top, quadruple top, maybe even on the 1 minute, maybe on the 5 minute it would look like a double top maybe or something. So on the 5 minute, clear double top showing in, resistance showing in, not enough momentum, not enough volume, not enough pressure for the breakout. So I start taking some size out, and then I'm just ready to punch out on the break even, not even give the stock the risk that I think it deserves. And that's exactly what I do. punch out, and a nice little profitable scalp. Eventually, had the market not did what it was doing, in my opinion, I think this could have easily broken out and ripped to the north side. It's just that market flushed around this time, and then later on in the day, the market was just on an insane rip back to the high of day and past the high of day, which is wow, to say the least. I mean, the market just trapped the people on the longs, trapped the people on the shorts, and then went right back to the upside. It was a classic dirty dog move over there on the market today. Gotta love those moves. Okay, let's go to DraftKings. DraftKings was moving up a couple days ago, or maybe I think yesterday. We also had a quick little scalp on DraftKings yesterday at the high of day area, a quick little flag breakout long, if you guys remember seeing that trade. But DraftKings today was gapped up in pre-market, gapping up, but off the open it flushes, consolidates in this area, and not really able to go too much below 36.50. And you can see how later on in that day, that 36.50 area basically ended up being support once again later on. So not really able to go below 36.50 off the opening drive. It's now 10 o'clock, and usually that's when you get the real moves coming into a stock, or at least the secondary moves on a stock, right? So the opening half an hour has finished, and you're seeing the stock try to go shake out the trades over here. It flushes, actually takes out the low of day, probably triggers some stops, and then buying kicks right into the north side. So once the buying comes in, there's an opportunity to go long over here. Really didn't want to do that because I don't want to get run into a sellers. Basically, sellers are up here, buyers are down here, and they're fighting each other. I don't want to get into the way over here and then decide or anticipate that this guy is the loser, or anticipate that this guy is the loser. I rather participate once the loser has lost. So over here, clearly around the level that I felt like was smarter to take a breakout than just simply taking the breakout of the high of this area. So a little bit higher than this area's. I think it was what, 37.10, 37.15. I set my entry at 37.20, 37.25, a little bit around VWAP too. So basically show me that buyer is no longer here, and they are really ready to rip the stock right back to the north side above today's VWAP. And that's exactly what happens, taking that breakout, ripping it to the north side, being a little greedy over here and adding to my positions pretty shittily, but also taking profits as the stock goes up. Eventually this is a flat trade, that's a flat trade, that's a loser, and that ends up just being one winner over here on DraftKings. Overall, I turned the stock to a flat trade because this breakout, I don't really manage it. At the same time that this breakout is entering me, I think I'm having to manage a different position. It's a position that I wasn't even planning to trade, actually. It makes me laugh. It's a position that my manager called out. Usually he has great call outs, but this call out was a little bit scary. It was a little bit illiquid, and it was really moving against me. So having to manage that position made me miss out on this one over here. It's my fault though. I'm not blaming him for missing this one now. It's my fault because I didn't set a stop, nor was I actively managing this position. I kind of just left it, and then when I look over to the second screen to see where the stock is, it's way below where I would like it to be. So I just punch out of the trade, and sadly DraftKings ends up being a flat position on the day. No money made, no money lost. This is exactly the story for Rivian. Rivian consolidating around $15.80. I'm thinking, I'm visualizing what can the stock do. There's two scenarios the stock can do. Today's VWAP is right around $16.15 at that time, right over here, $16.20, $16.15. I'm thinking the VWAP goes to $16. That's what it does at the end of the day. But for the VWAP to go to $16, the stock needs to trade a lot more in this area and then break down. And that's exactly what happens. But then for some reason, I wait for the pop. I see the selling come back in. I get short. I have a clear actionable short. For some reason, I just decide, the stock could easily just trade sideways over here and not really give me the move into that daily level of $15.20 or $15 in general. It probably won't give me that move that I'm looking for. So I'll just close it, walk away. Eventually, when the market does start selling off, Rivian does give me that move that I'm looking for. It does go to 1530, 1520, and I am not there to participate in it. Once again, little emotional, little P&L trading, not really making the right decisions after getting my ass blown out by TSM. Thank you, TSM. I guess that's what I get for making fun of Taiwan yesterday on stream, huh? For calling it Republic of China. TSM surely told me what it is. Surely told me what it is. All right, next one is the entry long over here. Beautiful idea on the long once again. I had a clear stop. We had that level on the daily chart somewhere right here, the 1530, 1520. It bounces off of that area, comes back, shows me a higher low, and I'm getting to get long, and it does give me the move that I was looking for. I just closed the trade before the move even happens. Right there, look at that. It does give me that move I was looking for, bouncing off of this beautiful level of 1530, 1535, 1530 area, moving right back into VWAP, not participating in these trades at all. So that's why we have a video to watch today later on, the ultimate guide to exiting strategy, a prop trading firm secrets revealed. So we'll watch that strategy over there, see how we can kind of improve on not only exiting but also holding the trades, and also kind of improving our entries, basically getting better every single day, 1%. You guys know the motto. Unity, a lower day punch over here, thinking that Unity could go into yesterday's low basically, but yeah, it didn't really do anything, so I just punched out of this trade. It tried to go down over here, but it immediately got bought back up. We've seen this on Unity multiple times where Unity flushes off the open and then just trades sideways for the rest of the day. So knowing that that is a possibility on Unity, I take a quick break out of this consolidation area. The consolidation doesn't really work for me, so I stop myself out and I walk away. I probably didn't need to get into that trade one more time over here, but that's just me being obviously greedy. I can see the volatility closing down, the Bollinger Bands are closing down, especially after the breakdown. So clearly no volatility, no volume, and no reason to be looking at Unity at this time of day either. So a little bit of a waste of pennies on this trade, but we need to make those mistakes earlier in our trading career so we don't make them later on with much bigger size and lose much more money for no reason, right? So make these mistakes earlier in our career, lose that little bit of dollars that we're losing because of the little bit of sizing that we're putting onto it, and then eventually learn to not make that mistake, and then eventually size up on the good trades and make that sweet cheddar cheese. Okay, next one, DWAC. Oh man, I don't really know what I was doing with this one. I guess I do know what I was doing with this one. I took the 26 breakout. After the 26 breakout, not taking any profits on the 50-cent pop and the flush right back, but after it flushes, it shows me a little bit of buying, so I get back right in. But after that little bit of buying, instantly more selling comes in. I go, okay, no, the stock is not doing what I wanted to do. Yesterday, if you guys remember on DWAC, it was holding that level pretty cleanly, which was at 25.80, 25.85, yeah, 25.85 level pretty cleanly after getting above that 26 price. But today, getting above 26 and not holding that 25.85 area kind of had me worried. So closed that trade right away. Eventually looks like I made the right decision, as the stock doesn't manage to get back above 25.85 ever again, and basically just trades sideways around VWAP, dances around. Still ends up being up 7% on the day though, so shout out to DWAC, still up 7% on the day. Sadly, not making any profits for me. Not making any profits for me. I see the chat moving quite a bit in my corner of my eye. So what's going on over here in the chat? TraderPrad representing, good to see you. What's up, Paul? Show Trader Sync stats. I would, but I didn't sync this week's stats at all because this week has been so horrible for me. I usually sync my stats at the end of the week on the weekend. That way I can tag all my trades and then kind of journalize my week by week and so on. So I just don't worry about it during intraday, because I already do so much work intraday with my journaling that I just try to stay away with that one. Sky Fairy in the house. What's up, Sky? Good evening. AMD, that's all I'm holding. Let's go. That's all you need to hold, basically. You don't need to hold more than that. Blinds in the house. We got Dallas, what's up, Dallas? Big boss with the big sweater. You see me, baby. We got the Super Bowl sweater, baby, from Budweiser. From Budweiser, yeah, from Budweiser, the Super Bowl sweater. For I need to wear this though for Super Bowl for the Super Bowl betting look. Okay, Josh is also announced. What's up, Josh? Like to see them chip stocks keep going. Have some SMH. I think that's the semiconductor ETF. Been swinging it for a few weeks. Let's go. Yeah, chips are obviously the hot sector right now. Very, very much in play, and we'll talk about it. SMCI #1 on the watch list. We got AMD, TSM, NVDA also on the watch list. Obviously, maybe something that we could add to the watch list would be ARM. Ooh. But the volume is not bad. I mean, 11 million, not bad on ARM at all. You know what? We're adding ARM to the watch list because it's taking out that high, and if it does, it's easily going into the all-time high over here. So just because we're so into this chip sector at the moment, we'll just put ARM. I mean, ARM is one of the most biggest chip sectors or chip stocks out there in the world, in the damn world. I should have bought this stock when it was at 50 goddamn dollars. What was I doing? Damn it. Missed out on a big opportunity. I mean, this stock could easily go into like 200, 500 over the long run. Obviously, I'm not saying over a span of a week or so. On the long run, this stock could go very, very, very much higher. This is not financial advice. Have you guys seen that clip from Davey Day Trader? Oh my God, we have to go talk about this right now. Please tell me it's on this channel. He's back! He's back! I love it. He's actually back. Retry. Come on, give me the post. Davey the Day Trader is back. Okay, we'll cover this afterwards, I guess, because that's hilarious. I can't wait to see Davey the Day Trader back. We'll talk about that in a second. But let's get back to the more important task at hand, which is talking about my trades and the watch list that we have going. But ARM is now being added to our watch list. I'm so excited for Davey the Day Trader being back, guys. Oh my God. Okay. AMD. So obviously we're waiting for that all-time high area, which broke in pre-market. Sadly, off the open, the stock actually pulls back into that all-time high area, or the previous all-time high area, 164.50s. 164.50 has 2,000 lots. That's basically 200,000 shares. 2,000, add 2 zeros, 200,000 shares times 164.50 is $32.9 million worth of buying power sitting there on the bid. $32 million at 930, 935, showing you his cards that they want to buy X amount of shares. They want to load up on this position, especially at the previous all-time high area. They are very bullish. So as soon as I saw that, I got long in front of that size. I called it out to my office members. I called it out to my coworkers. They all saw the size too, and then they took a bunch of trades along with me. Some of them managed it way better than me. Some of them didn't even take it, I think. Overall, I'm very happy with seeing what I saw on the tape, but what I'm not happy with the amount of size that I took on this trade. What I'm not happy with is how I managed this trade overall. Very, very trigger happy with the exits. Didn't even take enough size to begin with, and because of the size that I had and the risk that I was giving, I could have easily just played the 1R, 2R, 3R game and exited appropriately accordingly to that, but instead I was kind of listening to other people at my floor who were calling out that they're exiting X amount of their position. So as soon as I heard that, I exited X amount of my position. So I wasn't really thinking at all. I was kind of letting their opinions sway my whole trade setup and screw myself up. That's why the whole day was screwed up, because none of it was like calculated. Maybe some of the trades later on in the day were very calculated, but earlier on in the day it was just like, okay, once I saw this trade, it was just like bang bang, mistakes, and one mistake compounding into the next mistake, tilting me even more and making another mistake, and it was just a straight compounding of all that going into the end of the day. It was horrible. It was horrible. But at least I'm happy with seeing the opportunity. I'm happy with taking that trade. Some people will not even take the trade, but at least I pulled the trigger. I made the trade. I made some money on the original entry. Later on, the stock does manage to go higher, come back, show some little bit of buying in front of 166. So once it starts showing me a little bit of buying, I get long with the stop right under over here, but I see that too much selling coming in, it goes right down. So I'm offering out near break even, hoping that when the stock pops up I can get out. It doesn't really pop up into my average price, but it pops up pretty close into my average price, so I punch out, helping the damage being way less than what it could have been on this stop. Later on, once that 164.50 area comes back into play, and clearly the stock is being a little weak, it is back under today's VWAP and it's pushing back into that size. Usually when a stock is pushing into size once, twice, third time, it manages to break it the third or fourth or the fifth time. That's exactly what happens. The second time it comes into that price, it pops off that price, but doesn't really manage to go too much higher. Then it comes back into that price the third, fourth time and breaks it. That's where I take my short. I managed to get out some of it. I take the lot that I got out over here, I take it back, and then I'm looking for a bigger move into 160. Sadly, that move into 160 that I'm looking for doesn't come into play, and I'm just getting out of my full position over here. This one ends up being a keystroke. I walk away from that keystroke. Anytime you make a keystroke, you close the trade and you walk away. So I walk away from that trade. Later on over here, I try a short. That doesn't end up working. I wait for the stock to come back to kind of help me get out break even. So I do that. And then this one, what happened over here? Where's the exit for that bad boy? I don't even see the exit for that. What the hell? Oh, it's probably right in that candle. Maybe that's kind of weird. I don't even see oh, that's the short. That's right, that's the short. Half exit, and then the rest of the shares I exited over here. So got out some for break even, and the rest of it I basically held it for a little bit of a move against me. Not enough though, because right when the stock starts to curl for the move that I'm looking for, I don't manage to hold that position, nor do I manage to get back into the trade, so I stay away from it. Later on, around 160, I try some longs, ends up burning me, doesn't really end up working. AMD goes much lower than 160, eventually ends up popping back above 160. So that was my trades on AMD, turning a good day into a bad day, turning a good stock or a positive stock into a red stock. This stock wasn't really in my plan. It also slipped way too far against me. I wasn't really planning to even let that stock slip that far. What the problem with the exit with this stock is, I was trying to get fancy with my exits. Notice how some of the stocks on AMD, I was waiting for it to come back to break even so I can take that break even exit. I was trying to do something like that on this stock. The reason why that doesn't work on every stock is because stocks that have volume, it works, right? Stocks that don't have a wide spread, it works. Stocks like this that doesn't really have a lot of volume and a wide spread, that doesn't work. So when those break the level, punch the fudge out and get out of the trade. Instead, I'm sitting there, oh, maybe it can pop up and I can get a break even or a less damage. Nope. That's not what happens. It spreads, it opens the wide up and it kills me. This was a trade that my manager called out. He said this 120 area looks good. Look to get long on the dip buy. So we got long on the dip buy. Eventually it he calls the punch out, but I try to get a little fancy with it and I paid the price. Thankfully kept the size so small. because the spread was crazy and the volume was low on this position, it just ends up being a little bit of a loser, maybe too much of a loser than it should have been, and that's my fault because I tried to get fancy with my exit. Tesla, tried to take a lower day break on Tesla right into that 210 area, didn't work out. Getting fully out of that position over here. Tried some longs later on Tesla, right back into 210 area, that didn't work out. Closed the position, walked away. Just simple trading over there on Tesla. Tried 2 shots, didn't work, walked away. And the main culprit for the day today, the number 1 culprit for the day today, TSM. Team Solo Mid, for those of you know that reference. But no, Taiwan Semiconductor Company. Is it company or corporation? It's corporation. Company, damn it. I always get confused between sometimes with what the end is. Quickly, let me see what the chat's saying. SMCI, tri-tip steak potato salad. Ooh, Josh is eating nice. Oof. Mr. Jedi, it's early for you. Yeah, he's still driving home. It's pretty early. I don't want to say where he is. I don't want to dox his ass. But yes, it's pretty early. He's still heading home. Grilled mackerel for me. I'm not really a fish guy. But grilled mackerel sounds pretty delicious. One of your colleagues online, A. Carter Worth, has given a strong recommendation for Disney. What do you say? We can take a look at Disney. Apply for the Christmas giveaway. Ignore that comment. That comment needs to get deleted. Very nice. Great ideas for this weekend. We will be buying mackerel if there's any good. You guys are just making me hungry now. Damn it, you guys are making me hungry. All right, let's get back to the stock market over here. My last trade on the day today to talk about, and it's already been 36 minutes and we haven't even got to the watch list and all the other fun stuff. So let's get started over here. How did this start? TSM clearly taking out a 52-week high, pushing much higher, going into this 110, 111 area right off the opening. The 112 area had a little bit of size. I was getting ready to take the break out of this 112 area. It never really came into play. Well, it did later on in the day, but by that time I was mentally burnt out. I was too emotionally hurt and confidence burnt out for me to take any more trades later on at that time. But at this time of the day, I was waiting for that 112 breakout to happen. If that level didn't come into play, why am I getting cute and getting fancy on this hold above VWAP? Why? I did the same thing on Apple yesterday, and that was my biggest loser too. Even though yesterday wasn't really that bad of a day, I did the same thing on Apple. Apple 180 breakout. We were looking for that 180 breakout. Instead, 180.50, 181, we get chopped up in that area for absolutely no reason. And guess what? 180 never really came into play. Had I just waited for 180, I would have not been in a trade and Apple wouldn't have been a big loser, and I probably would have actually ended positive on the day yesterday. My only first positive day on the week. But that wasn't the story. The same thing happened over here. Had I not traded this ticker today until that 112 level comes in, which was much later in the day, I would have never been in an execution. I would have never been in a trade. I wouldn't have had to pull a trigger, and I wouldn't have the worst trade of the week over here on the stock, right? So absolute garbage trading, getting cute for that 112 breakout, trying to front run the 112 breakout, and seeing if this VWAP hold was an actual hold. Eventually nothing really happening. Very choppy. Later on, the stock does manage to go through 112 and get very cleanly above 112. Not only does it get cleanly above 112, it gets above 112 and holds the area on the pullback very beautifully on the 5-minute chart. So right there, look at that. Breaks out of 112, right? The high a day, 112 area, 111.99 high a day. Breaks out of 112, comes back for a pullback, doesn't really go back to 112. You're seeing buying coming in every time in front of 112.10, 112.13, 112.16. It goes to 112.16, it pops right back up. It goes to 112.13, it pops right back up. There's buyers coming in, volumes ramping up. All bullish indications and reasons to be in a trade at this time of day. Instead, being emotionally hurt, being confidently beat up, not taking that trade, and that was the setup right there to be in. You could have taken the breakout of 112, or you could have waited for the pullback and support of 112 to get in, or you know, you could have taken the breakout of 112 and waited to see if the stock gets back under 112 to maybe close some of your size or whatever, and that would have never happened because it never looks back. It never looks back. Right, so beautiful trade over there on TSM to the north side. Sadly for us, it's our worst trade of the day. Wah, wah, wah. All right, enough crying, let's move on. Let's get ready for tomorrow. Wayne Wanger is saying a market is a scam. Why, Wayne? Didn't you have a good day today? Let's go take a look at Wayne's trades today, guys. Let's do that. 1% better Wayner. Let's take a look at this guy's trades. Actually, I'm going to pull it up on this chart over here because he might have some confidential information that he might not. This guy stole my layout. You rat fuck. This guy's posting tape too? Ah, you don't have tape. Okay. But you're trying to start posting tape. You rat fuck. Oh no, you got burnt. Yeah, we both got beat up on TSM. You got beat up on AMD a little bit. You did good on save. Okay, Dave Portnoy, I see you. You did good on save. Young Dave Portnoy over there. But yeah, TSM, oof. Let's take a look at this guy's TSM trades, guys, real quick. That's save. This is oh my god. What am I looking at? I mean, I'm looking at my chart basically. This looks very much like my chart. Let's be real. Yeah, does that not look like my chart today, guys? That's basically looks like my chart. We didn't really take this breakout over here because this guy got a little antsy and a little, you know, greedy right off the open. It's not even 1 minute off the open and you're already into the position over here. Okay, maybe it's 2 minutes off the open, but you're already into the position. Okay, not sure what you're trying to do there, but later on I'll give you some of these attempts, you know, whatever. I try some of these attempts too. That long over there is a beauty. That ad is not bad at all. That ad is not bad at all. These exits are not bad either based on what the stock did later on. You have this trend line. Not sure when you drew this trend line, but then not taking active exits on the pop of those trend lines and recognizing that that trend line was getting rejected was a big mistake. Taking the break of that trend line is great, but then you know, doing this is fine, but then adding on the drop over here and the reject of this high is also a little bit crazy in my opinion. Whatever, you kept the risk tight, I guess. Not tight enough. I see the P&L. Later on you tried some longs over here back into 110. I don't blame you for that. I guess if you stayed with this trade and actually didn't really, you know, get a little bit greedy with these ads and waited at the bottom and were passive, if you were passive with your longs, or especially at this time of the day when the volume wasn't really that good, instead of being a little bit aggressive, I think you would have possibly been participating on the move back to VWAP or even higher into 113. So that's a quick little trade review for my buddy. Eventually I'll have to do this review in Discord and off camera anyways. Oh no, he's here. He is reading or I guess he got the review anyway, so I guess I don't have to do the review for you on TSM. Tell her I'm sorry for the, what does that even mean, bro? Atrocytes? Atrocities. Yo, I'm stupid. Atrocities. All right, shut up. Nah, don't. It's bad, he goes. Don't clip it, bro. I'm beating your ass next time I see you if you clip that. All right, I had a terrible stop sweating. You are I had a terrible day. Stop sweating. It's okay. Yeah, you know, good days, bad days, everything happens. You are on the big screen and mom is watching with me. Hi, mom. I'm thinking about selling puts on NIO and 5.5 and 6. And I mean, I don't know about that, but good luck on that one. But yeah. All right. We are getting ready for the next part of the stream over here. Did I? We'll do that. Next part of the stream, which is getting ready for the watch list. Now, tomorrow's watch list, not really the largest watch list. So, real quick glance at tomorrow's watch list for those of you interested, starting with some of these chip names. How am I forgetting what they're called? Some of the chip names. We still got a couple bank names in there because I'm still interested to see what Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs can do for us. Other chip names, AMD, Rivian, because it's pushing into a nice level. Spotify is pushing into a nice level. And obviously DraftKings and DWAC and Marvell, another chip name. Oop, we closed the primary screen somehow. That was a big mistake. And then last but not least, we got the big tech, the large, magnificent 7 to take a look at. The beautiful Mag 7, as we call them. The Mag 7. Is that a weapon? No, no, it's Mac 9, Mac 10, Mac 11. Mag 7. What's a Mag 7? I feel like that's a weapon. I forget. Anyways, let's start with SMCI, the after-hour mover today on earnings report. Did you report? Where's my marker that you reported? Hello? This said they reported. Oh, I forgot to put that stock on my watch list. I gotta put IRBT on my watch list. Let me quickly add that to my watch list too. We'll put that right under ARM. Insert below IRBT. And then we'll talk about that why. SMCI, Super Microcomputer, shares of the information technology firm gained 6% after the Super Microcomputer reported adjusted earnings between higher than its previous guidance of. Super Micro also reported preliminary review. So it's not even its actual earnings report, but preliminary earnings report. How is that legal? How can you have a report before the report comes out, basically creating somewhat of a boost over here? Maybe you're trying to leech off of the NVDA move, AMD move, and the TSM move. So a preliminary move, when do you actually report earnings is what I want to see over here on this stock. Let's go to the daily chart real quick. You report earnings like at the end of the month. So at the end of the month over here, so not sure how that is even legal. Obviously that's going to allow the stock to push into all-time high area, but I mean that's pretty fishy to me. That's weird. That's pretty weird. So let's just mark it up anyways. We have these two areas of interest. We're going to put that bad boy over there. We're going to put that line over there. Zoom out now on the 5-minute chart and see how far we are from that area. 357 to 358. 357 to 358, basically the all-time high zone. And we're only like, what, 10 $15-ish away from there off of this catalyst. So we'll be interested to see how the stock moves tomorrow. Let's quickly also go back to the oh, looks like I previously had some zones of interest on the stock. Let's just get rid of those levels. Maybe not, because they look like interesting levels. So we'll leave them in for future references. But let's quickly mark in some of these zones real quick, which is today's high and today's low, and move on from this stock as we don't really know what. I mean, not really move on, but let's make some notes for it. Obviously, the stock is somewhere between 340 and 350. This is the daily chart. Notice how much weakness the stock has anytime it pushes into these all-time high areas. Previously over here, and then the next time right around these days, the recent days. So we'll be interested to see how the stock does now with this new, somewhat of a fake earnings report. I'm calling it a fake earnings report because it's not a real earnings report, period. They're just creating somewhat of a fake news, and we'll see if that fake news, I feel like Trump now, fake news. They're creating this fake news over here. Let's see if that fake news can carry the stock to the north side. I'm going to put that in my notes. Prelim ER, making fake news. Let's see if the stock can use this to get into all-time high area. Bearish below all-time high. Bullish above all-time high. Resistance all-time high area of 357 to 358. 357 and 358, the all-time high obviously being 358, right? Easily, it's that simple. As for supports and so on, you could expect the stock to pull back into today's high. I would not doubt that at all. I mean, if today's move was just or the after hour move, not today's move, if the after hour move was just completely fugazi and absolutely had no substance behind it, it's a bullshit move basically, then you can expect the stock to pull right back into today's high, maybe even get back below today's high, right? So that could be an opportunity to be involved in, maybe to add into the trade if you are expecting a bigger ATR move on SMCI back into the downside off of this bullshit fake catalyst over here. I'm not buying it. Not buying it. Not buying that garbage at all. So looking for basically a bearish move, but we'll see what happens. If it does push into the all-time high, and it does what most of these stocks have been doing recently into these all-time highs, which is get into the all-time high, pull back below the all-time high area, and then just sell for the rest of the day. JP Morgan, Uber, today AMD did that for quite a bit. So looking for maybe SMCI to set up on a trade like that for us tomorrow. I'm actually going to be making a scanner that is going to help me find these stocks that are at all-time high areas that can break out, and then I'll just sit there and wait, just wait, show me the top, get in, and then ride the stock right back to the downside for the rest of the day. Can't wait for these opportunities because I'm seeing them way too often right now. Go to the next stock over here for tomorrow. It's going to be a boomer stock, and you guys know how much I love boomer positions. Maybe you guys don't, but my manager knows for sure. He calls me Boomer Lover Prad. Boomer Lover Prad, that's right. So SLB, 13 million shares on an average scale, not too bad. Coming out with earnings report tomorrow, pre-market. So let's prepare for that real quick. I can't really, expect anything more than this area that the stock is showing right now, near $54 or so. But if the earnings report's amazing, then the stock is above 54, then a pullback into 54, that would be great. But if the stock's earnings report is not really that great, a push into 54 and a resistance around 54, then a short somewhere off of that area will be good. If the stock is opening up into $50, pulling back into today's high, holding today's high around $49, that could be an area of long. If the stock is just going back into today's range, kind of boring at that point, it might just be a nothing burger of a trade. But earnings trades usually brings in a catalyst, usually brings in somewhat of a volatile move and a elevated R-vol. So expecting some fun to be had on Schlumberger here. You can see how the stock is currently on a downtrend, a clear downtrend. I guess a little bit of a downtrend broke, but we came right back into that downtrend right back again. So waiting to see if the downtrend continues off of this earnings report, meaning a red earnings report, or do we get a little bit of a break of the downtrend and some consolidation sideways a little bit after this earnings report helps break that sadness that the stock has been having for quite a bit. So we'll just have to wait. Everything will be revealed in the morning right after the earnings report pops out for the stock. Real quick, we'll do some research on the stock as to what time is this position going to have their conference call. What time is their conference call tomorrow? Looks like that is at 9:30 a.m. God damn it. No. I don't want any alarms notion. Don't do that. I don't want any alarms at 9:30 a.m. It damn near triggered an alarm or damn near set an alarm at 9:30. Maybe I do want an alarm. Maybe I do want it to set an alarm when the conference call is happening. That way it keeps me away from getting into the trades. I'll think about that. But anyways, tomorrow we're only having basically an eye on one position on earnings report in the pre-market, and that's Schlumberger. Just in case you guys are interested in any of these other stocks reporting, such as ALLY, Huntington, Travelers, State Street, I think that's a bank. Or an insurance company, not sure. But here's the list of a bunch of other companies announcing earnings report tomorrow if you are interested. I thought you went to the gym at 8 a.m. Yeah, but I'm talking about the conference call at 9:30. It sets an alarm at 9:30 to basically send me an alert saying, hey, conference call 9:30. It's this app that I use to write my notes in. It's the same app that I use to take my journals down and everything. You can do this. Reminder at 10. See, and it will basically set a reminder and set me an alert maybe it could be a useful thing that I could do, especially for stocks that are reporting earnings call conference calls in the pre-market, or sorry, during the regular trading hours. It will keep me away from trading these positions. That's the idea. What I mean by don't set an alarm at 9:30. That's what I meant. I do wake up pretty damn early, trust me. I get barely any sleep every single night. That's why on the weekends I hibernate. I hibernate on the weekends. Like I sleep for like 12 hours on the weekends and I just don't wake up. Anyways, you're not here to hear about my sleep schedule. You're here to learn about what type of opportunities I might be interested in tomorrow. Where is my other indicator? There you are. There you are. Move you two down there, move you somewhere here, move you somewhere here, and we'll come back to you in a bit. SMCI, I need to put some indicators on this bad boy. Give me a second, chat. And then and then we'll just put some lines down there, bang and bang. And then we'll worry about modifying those tomorrow. Okay, next stock, TSM. Monster move obviously off the earnings report. Let's move up our markers for yesterday's high and yesterday's low right there. We got a bunch of lines in between over here based on how the stock was moving today. I'm just gonna remove a couple of those lines. I'm also going to quickly do this for myself, so give me a second while I quickly move over a couple of these things. You go here. I usually do these off stream so I don't take up too much time during stream for you guys, but today I just didn't get enough time to create the watch list and everything, so I didn't get enough time to go through some of these positions and move my indicators and move my lines and so on. But so bear with me, as we don't really have that many stocks to talk about today, most of them being in the chip sector. We can kind of just run through the sector over here. Someone in our chat said they're holding SMH. You can also take a look at SOXX. Yes, SOXX on the NASDAQ. This is a little bit of a heavier price ETF than SMH. SMH is around $180. For those of you who don't want to spend that much buying power on these positions, you can also trade the ETF, which are 3 times leverage, which is SOXL for the long side and SOXS for the short side. The 3 times leverage ETF. The short side looks like it's about to break out to the downside. The long one looks like it's about to break out to the long side. SMH already broke out to the long side. SOXX, which is the big large cap ETF, I think so. At least that's what I've been told. It doesn't really matter which one you follow. It's just one of them is managed by VanEck, other one's managed by iShares, the other one's managed by maybe BlackRock or whatever. Maybe they have different percentages in them. So just overall, at the end of the day, they're just tracking semiconductor positions. So SMH over here breaking out to the north side. Our viewer who's holding it obviously having a blast watching his positions go up, and a lot of the traders who are also holding some of these stocks in that ETF, TSM, AMD, NVDA, just monster charging to the upside. As for TSM, we're looking for possible retracements and showing us buying on retracements, especially into this 112 area. I would like to see the stock pull back into 112 and show me buying. That was the pretty much the area where the stock was struggling throughout the day until it finally broke out. So let's see that area coming back into play and see if we can see some buying. But if 112 area doesn't want to show us buying, today's VWAP basically around $111. That is a good chance of today's VWAP basically meaning earnings VWAP is around $111. There's a good chance that area shows up to be some support over there for us to join the long side and just wait for the patterns to show up. Obviously wait for the patterns to show up. Today's high around 113.11, 113.40, 113.40. I'll put that in my notes over there for TSM. For ARM, obviously real quick, let me just do this bad boy. Move that over there, move you over here. ARM now getting into very close to getting into that all-time high area. Let me just quickly put that line down for myself. That line is what, 74.38. Today's high around 74.50, maybe 74.80. Today's high 74.80, right around 74.50 to 74.80. Let's say 76. If ARM can get above 76 and hold 76 cleanly, or even get above 76, pull back to 74.50 and hold that area cleanly, there's a chance for the stock to really push in the all-time high area of the $78.50, $78.66 to be precise. So watching this area over here to see how the stock trades. Did I say 76? Sorry, I meant 75. 74.50 to 75, 74.50 to 75 area as a resistance, and I'm going to be closely watching that price tomorrow to see how the stock behaves around these prices for us to possibly give us a long or a short. So bullish on break, pull back and hold of 75, 74.50 to 75 area. For TSM, bullish on pull back and test of earnings VWAP, bullish on breakout, pullback and hold of yesterday's high. And those are basically the trade setups that I want to be involved in. If it doesn't want to show me any type of bullish indication after having that type of a monster move today on TSM, it just doesn't mean that it doesn't look interesting at all at that point. Basically, that's the idea. So I'm only looking for two scenarios, and they're both bullish scenarios. Bullish. And basically the same idea on ARM. I'm only looking for one scenario here, and it's a very bullish scenario. And if that scenario doesn't show up, I basically don't want to be part in that position at all. Let me quickly mark up my yesterday's low, mark up my yesterday's high, and we are ready to go on to the next one. Ooh, do we stay on the same sector over here for the chip sector? I think we do. I felt like I had some chips around me to eat, but no, I don't have any chips around me. But anyways, we'll eat some chips tomorrow. We're gonna eat the shit out of these chips tomorrow, boy. So AMD, NVDA, SMCI. We just talked about ARM and TSM. So why don't we go straight into Marvell, which is my next chip sector stock over here on board. But honestly, why can't I type? Honestly, there might not even be a trade here for us to be in. Is there a RVol spike? Yeah, there's a pretty good RVol over there. The stock did punch into this previous high. There could be some opportunity. Could be something. There could be something. Just deciding what I really want to do with the stock right now while I throw down some of these lines and move over some of my indicators. Basically, the idea is I do like the fact that we broke out of this box. But the question is, what happens at the high of this price? That price is around $68. We did push up to the high of almost $70 today. So maybe on the breakout of 70 and a hold above 70 looks pretty bullish for us. Or even a hold of 68. I don't really want to see the stock below 68, even though today's low is 67. So you could say anywhere from 68 to 67. I don't really want to see the stock below those prices. And if it is below that, then there is no more bullish concept on this position at all. So let me just put that in my notes over here. The inflection, in my opinion, is kind of 70. I think we see the stock above 70 in pre-market itself. So the notes that you're looking for are pullbacks to 70 and a hold of 70. So bullish if stock can break, pull back and hold 70 cleanly for a long. Bullish if stock can open below 70, hold 68 or 67 cleanly, and move back. At that point, don't expect more than 70. I'm just gonna put, that's just too much notes at that point. That's too much notes. Bullish if stock can open above bullish if stock bullish if stock holds 68, 67 cleanly on a move back. Don't expect more than 70. Don't expect more than 70. Period. That's an easier note. On a quicker glance, we don't have to read and oh my goodness, what am I even trying to say in these notes over here, and get confused and not really end up pulling the trigger on the trade when the trade shows up. Pretty simple trade idea. Look for what happens above 70. Look for what happens on the pullback into 67 or 68. If you see a good bullish pattern to get long into, something like this, you see a clear bottom coming in for you to get involved in, then get involved in that. That's as simple as that. You don't have to make it any harder for yourselves. Okay, so that's on Marvell. Let's get on to the next chip stock, which is obviously the hottest chip stock at the moment. My favorite, AMD. AMD has been so beautiful. Oh, that's not yesterday's high. That's yesterday's high. You go here, you go here, you go there. And then we'll just move these two lines over here for now. But there you go. Today's all-time high, or now the new all-time high, basically 168.60. The previous all-time high, 164, where the stock sadly closed under, or 164.50, where sadly the stock closed under. And that trade setup, which is shorting all-time highs, has been a wonderful setup so far. And this is something that I'm going to need to write up as a trade write-up, because we saw this multiple times. We saw this on Uber. We wrote up Uber. We saw this on JPM. We wrote up JPM. How did we do it on AMD? We did not take advantage of it on how we thought we should have. So we need to write up this trade one more time and keep writing up the trade until we start getting it. Even after we get it, can still just keep writing it up. Keep writing it up. Keep writing it up. Missed a big opportunity to the downside. It was nothing but selling ever since that move right there on AMD. I mean, my goodness. That's sad. Very, very sad. All right. Let's go to AMD and see what the game plan is. I mean, on a quick glance, we did go below 160 today. Did go below 160, and I still think we need to hold 160 on any sort of a pullback. After hour, we are exactly at that 164.50 again. Ooh, we are exactly at that 164.50 again, which is the previous all-time high and today's all-time high, or now the new all-time high, 168.60. A little confused as to what I really want to do. I think I'm gonna let pre-market dictate to me what I want to do with AMD. We kind of have a more decidable plan. We have a more fixed plan for some of these other chip stocks, but AMD, I think, you know, tomorrow I'm gonna need to let the stock really tell me what I need to do with it, instead of me already having a plan. The craziness that the stock could do is a lot. It can do a lot, and it did do a lot today too. No one was really expecting 160 to break today. It broke, so this stock can do very much very quickly. So be pretty careful on this one. Be pretty careful. Let's go to the next chip stock. I think it should be NVIDIA, the last one. I'm just scanning through my notes. AMD, Spotify, Apple, AMZ. Yeah, the last one is NVIDIA. So let's go to this bad boy, move up our markers real quick. Bang, bang, and bang, and bang. Okay, so obviously this is the same basket as AMD. The reason why Marvell, ARM, TSM, and SMCI are a little bit more decisible plans that you could make, because they're not into these all-time high areas. They're just around these 52-week high areas, or getting into these all-time high areas, whereas NVIDIA already took out all-time high multiple days ago and has been making new all-time highs every day. And after making a new all-time high, it kind of ducks right back and then makes another new all-time high. So kind of have to be very careful with NVIDIA at the moment. And AMD is basically joining the party. We just now today today got somewhat of a catalyst from Mark Zuckerberg around 4:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That Mark Zuckerberg basically hinting that the Meta platforms previously known as Facebook has been spending billions and billions and billions of dollars on NVIDIA's AI chips. That's an even bigger catalyst again for NVIDIA and AI and all other chip sectors in general. So more pump coming in over here off of that news, most likely tomorrow. That's why the thumbnail today, as you guys saw, was a face swap with me and the CEO of NVIDIA over there. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, overall, you could get trapped very quickly on these positions. What I would maybe suggest is watching AMD and NVIDIA like a hawk off the open. If you see some big buyer, some big seller, some good pattern to play off of, there's tons of opportunities there. Maybe if off the open is not the right spot on these positions, there could be some opportunities later on the day in the positions. So I would continue to watch AMD and NVIDIA. I just don't have a plan to create for these two positions right now. Whereas on other semiconductors I did. So we'll move on from that one and go into some of the other positions that I kind of want to prepare for. The first stock on that would be IRBT, iRobot. iRobot has been making a little bit of a descent for the last few days, ever since that catalyst came out that their deal with Amazon could get blocked. I guess somebody knew something before the move actually came in, or the news came in. The news came out today, 2 hours ago. EU antitrust regulators intend to block Amazon's iRobot acquisition, and looks like maybe this candle over here looks like somebody knew that news before it even dropped. Clearly a little bit of a move to the downside. Now the question is, how low can you go? How low can you go? How low can you go? Wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished? Hold up. That was not yesterday's high and yesterday's low, was it? That looks like the after hour move. 5-minute chart. No, it was. That was today's low and that was today's high. Wow. 14% down. Down another big move. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. You're telling me the stock does this, and then this, and the volume is so rampant on this position for the last few days, and the news just comes out and then it drops another. Yeah, okay. Yeah, nobody knew at all. No, nobody knew at all. Nobody had any clue that the iRobot deal is not gonna go through. Man, the stock market's such a scam. Wayne Wang was right. Wayne Wanger was right. Get out of here. That is bullshit. The SEC should sue every single person or find out every single trader who traded the stock on this day and put them in jail. Period. Put their ass in jail, even on this day. If you sold the stock today, if you shorted, you're going to jail. How did you know? How did you know? How did you know when the news came out today after hours, and that's the after hour move? You know what I'm interested in? Hold up. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. That move started here. I don't really want to put you there. I want to put you here. Okay. And we'll put you there. After our news of deal of EU blocking Amazon deal. Okay, there we go. So that's ready. Now we have this little zone to kind of keep an eye out for. Let's zoom out the stock on the all-time chart. All-time chart I mean, wow, $6 is the all-time low. We have this little bottom over here in front of $16 and 17. Let's say $17. We have a little bit of a bottom over here at around $17, $19. Pretty sure the stock is at that 17. Below that, well below that. Oh Lord, we're like at $10, $13 over here, man. We're basically at this bottom. We're at like 10-year lows. Jesus, we're at 10-year lows on this stock. We're buying the dip. That's all I know. We're buying the shit out of the dip over here on iRobot. Tomorrow, SSR longs will be raining strong. I will be looking for that setup. Looking for an SSR long, maybe front run a big size level tomorrow, if possible. Just looking for long. Look for a bullish pattern to get long into at the lows after stock flushes on the open. Not a viable play after 12 p.m. Period. Not a viable play after 12 p.m. iRobot priority, very important for me. Very important as to see what iRobot does tomorrow. I kind of don't even care about any other trades. Honestly, don't even want to put in any notes for Alcoa or Morgan Stanley or Goldman Sachs. I mean, do I? Let's talk about Alcoa real quick. Alcoa, today's opening move was pretty good. I mean, overall, this was yesterday's range. It got through yesterday's range. I waited to see what the stock would do above yesterday's high, got above yesterday's high, pulled back, showed support, and we got long, but then it struggled right into the after hour pop that it made off the earnings report, eventually later on turning red after turning green. That doesn't make any sense. So the stock is no longer bullish. If you're now looking for some sort of a day two setup on this stock, you are looking most likely bearish on this position, and it is a boomer position, I guess. So you might not really have it on as that big of an importance tomorrow. You know, maybe it doesn't even bring in that much volume tomorrow. Usually the stock after earnings comes out, the volume dies down pretty drastically. So that is also a possibility for this stock. But right now, based on what happened today on Alcoa, I am pretty bearish. I cannot be bullish on this position at all. I don't think the stock will have much of a pop above tomorrow. Notice how today's VWAP, yesterday's VWAP, earnings VWAP, all right around the same price. If the stock pops up into this area, rejects this area, that is a beautiful short, and you can basically maybe even add on the break a lower day. If the lower day is already broken to start the day off with, a pull back into lower day and a clear reject into the lower day will be opportunity for us to look for short too. But this stock is basically on a lower priority. It is going to be an earnings day 2 priority, but still a very low priority for me compared to iRobot, ARM, TSM, SMCI, because they are the more in play stocks at the moment. So earnings day a 2 trade, looking for a bearish setup. Bearish if stock can pull back and reject 27 where did we close today? 26.75. What is this area right here? Right around 27.20. 27 to 27.20. Bearish if stock opens under yesterday's low, pulls back and rejects clearly to get short on. So first, right now, I'll put today's low as resistance, or sorry, support, which is around 26.50. I'll put the 27.20 that I'm looking for as my resistance area. Then I'll put the inflection as both support and resistance based on where the stock opens at. Okay, moving on from this one, we're going to Morgan Stanley. Let's take a quick look at Morgan Stanley. This one actually very low priority tomorrow. I'm not even gonna put notes for this one because earnings day 1, earnings day 2, earnings day 3. Day 4 is usually not a thing at all. You will there might be a play, but especially for stocks like a boomer ass stock like Morgan Stanley, there's usually not a day 4 play. The stock is on a downtrend at the moment, so there could be a continuation of this downtrend. You could participate in that. I will be watching this stock once again, the same setups, yesterday's lows, yesterday's highs. Show me some sort of a bearish setup. If you open up exactly into today's range and you're not even breaking today's range, that looks like a pretty boring setup for me to be involved in, right? So I'm not going to be worrying about the stock if it opens up in today's range. If you are opening up in today's range, show me what you do. Show me what you got at the low of the ranges or at the high of the ranges, or break out of those ranges and then pull back to those ranges to show me support or show me resistance to play with, right? That's what I like to do on these stocks, and that's what we'll be waiting to do so. So Morgan Stanley on the watch list, just not going to put any notes for it. Same thing for Goldman Sachs, but instead, actually, we're going to put one level and only one level on the watch list over here, 374. And we're going to actually upgrade Goldman Sachs to a little bit of a higher priority compared to Morgan Stanley, because I really like the stock's earnings report, how they reported their ER, and they also have been holding this level really well for the past few days. So if 374 can come into play, meaning we go under 374 and clearly trade under 374, that's a beautiful short. And if 374 come into play, meaning they go to 374 and they show buying again, that's a beautiful long. So that's the only level I kind of want to play around with. I don't really care about today's high or yesterday's high. These highs don't really matter to me because the actual high on this position is much higher. I can wait for that level to come into play. Right now, the only level I care for, 374. So we'll put that in our notes, 374. Bullish if stock can continue to hold the support. Okay. Bullish if stock can continue to hold the support. Let's go check out some of our other friends over here. Stocks like DWAC and wow, didn't DWAC do exactly what we thought it would do, and we still tried to push the long on this. We said we can't expect DWAC to do something crazy because today's candle was insane. I mean, it was like a big ATR move. So I expected the stock to basically stay in the halfway range of this day, and it did the exact same thing. And I still tried to pull a long on this trade. Crazy me, stupid me. But anyways, DWAC, not really sure what to do with this one tomorrow. It'll be on watch. This 25.85 comes in from this area. We'll see if this 25.26 area can come back into play tomorrow, and if it does, what type of fun activities can open up for us on the stock. I'm just gonna quickly move some of my markers over here on the stock, and then we'll just move on. No notes for DWAC, just going to have it on my watch list to have it just in case it pops up and we can see how it moves. DraftKings, the level on DraftKings that we are watching currently will be all the way up here into that 39.35 area. So waiting to see how DraftKings will behave on the pop into that price. Until then, I think it's actually a nothing burger. So you could set an alert into $39 and just wait for $39 come into play. You could take today's high breakout. You could take a pullback of today's high hold. You could take support of today's low. You could take a breakout of today's low or a pullback to today's low and reject. All those trade opportunities are all there, but I rather just wait for this range high to come into play instead of playing in between this range. No point for me to play in between this range. It will still be on the watch list because the stock has been getting a little active randomly all of a sudden. I don't get it, but we'll see what happens. Boeing. This one, we talked about it on our trade today, how we traded it. So clearly Boeing has been getting a little active recently. Very interested to see how Boeing will set up for tomorrow. This is a little bit of a reversal basically, right? These are the days of the stock gap down and the short little to no selling and then more selling coming into play. We held that 200 area beautifully, and then a nice little reversal right back into this day's high. Right around that day's high is basically where I was looking for short, and I ended up catching the short the second time. Now we're looking for a possible gap close and then maybe even a reversal right back into these ranges. Anything is possible, right? So just watching Boeing closely to see if some trades can open up over here. No notes, no plan really on Boeing. I'm just gonna watch it carefully, but plan coming in for Rivian pushing into this beautiful low 1530. We could maybe even draw a little box over here for Rivian. Let me just do that real quickly. Draw that box over there, throw in a couple markers for ourselves, put that marker back to default. Put this marker back over there. So right there, from $15 to $15.30 is the range that we're looking for, and we're looking to see if that area can show up to continue to show some support for us to get long into. Today we did get the long, but we traded it pretty shitty. So support 15 to 15.30. That's the area that we're looking for. Inflection 15 to 15.30. If bullish, if stock can hold the daily support area, $15. So that's what we're looking for on Rivian tomorrow, and I think the stock will be very much in play, especially because of how it moved to the downside today. If tomorrow we do break below this area, where's my mouse? Oh no, my mouse got hijacked. Oh no, yeah, okay, there we go. If tomorrow we do move below this area, goodbye Rivian, right? $12 incoming. But if we do hold in this area, there's some bullish moves possibly coming to the north side, so watch out for that. So bullish above 15, bearish below 15. Okay, last but not least, I'm gonna talk about Spotify, and then we'll go to the QQQs and so on. So let's talk about Spotify over here. Spotify finally getting back above this range of $200. A couple days ago, it actually struggled and got below 200, rejected 200 pretty cleanly, and set up for some beautiful shorts. Ended up being my best trade on the day. But now I was pretty surprised watching Spotify move right back above 200 and basically move as high as 210 today. So the question is, what does Spotify do on a pullback to 200? Can you show us support? Can you show us some buying into 200 again? And if so, that's basically today's low. Today's low is 201, but let's say 200. If you can pull back into 200 and show some buying into 200, beautiful long right back into today's high. If the stock is already opening above 200, let's say it's opening around 205, it's closed at 205 basically. So let's say it opens in pre-market 205 and just straight trickling into 210 in pre-market, but then around the open it's having issues to trade around 210, then there is some shorts opportunities at 210, but it's breaking out of 210 and it's pulling back to 210 and holding 210, there's some long opportunities on 210. So we're looking for these three areas basically: 200, 210, and then 205, which is my inflection point to see how the stock is behaving at 205. Actually, 205 is not my inflection point. My inflection point is still 200. I would like to see 200 being held if the stock is going into 200, but if 200 is not even in play and we are holding above 200, let's say 203, 205, 206, all of that is still very bullish to me on Spotify. But the importance of this trade will be a little bit lower. It's a way too big of a move for this stock. Usually the stock doesn't move as much as it did today, so I'm not expecting a bigger move tomorrow. Most likely having an inside day tomorrow. That's why I talked about a possible short right into 210 right off the open. I could easily see the stock opening at 205, slowly trickling to the north side in pre-market, off the opening at 210 something, going above 210, trapping the longs, going to 211, 212, and then pulling back from 211, 212 all the way down back into the middle of these ranges to 205 or so, where it might find support. I can see that happening clearly. I can visualize that trade happening clearly. My job now is to see if my visualization is turning into realization and then capitalize that trade. If it doesn't happen that way, just sit on the sidelines and go trade some of the other stocks that you have been visualizing for the all day, right? The problem that most of the losses for most traders come from, no matter what type of skill level you are, is taking those trades that you haven't even planned for. They don't have a setup. You're just getting fancy and getting cute because you think you know how to trade and you think you're better than the market. For example, Apple yesterday, 180 was the setup. I got cute with the market. I thought I was better than the market. I paid the price for it. TSM, 112 was the setup. 112 breakout. I thought I was better. I thought I was cute. I got burnt, right? So no reason to actually take these stupid setups and not stupid setups, but taking these stupid executions that don't really have any setups behind them, don't really have any substance behind them for us to even putting any risk onto. So just wait for your rules, wait for your plans, wait for your playbooks, and smash your playbooks, ladies and gentlemen. That is honestly not talked about enough. That is the secret to trading. Everyone can talk about oh, the secret to trading is this magical indicator here, or this holy grail indicator over here. It's my two magical crystal balls that I rub at the end of the night before going to bed. Whatever, shut up. The actual answer is creating a plan and then having the damn discipline to stick to the plan and follow through with it. It's when you don't have the discipline to follow through with the plan, when you don't have the discipline to stay patient for your plan to even come into play. I have that problem quite a bit, right? My trading plan is telling me to wait for the stock over here, but I see the stock kind of doing this over here. I see this little movement and I FOMO into a trade. Eventually, the stock does go into my area where I should have been waiting. I go, no, I should have been waiting. Eventually, if the stock works, great, but I make way less amount of money because my average is shit, right? My risk to reward is now cut into half. My statistics look bad. And when the stock doesn't end up working out for me, I actually end up losing more because the amount of risk I'm giving now compared to the amount of risk I should have been giving. So all those stupid, silly mistakes and so on, just correct them, make a plan, make a system, follow your system, have the discipline to follow that system, have the discipline to be patient. And that's honestly is the secret to trading. If you don't have a plan, steal a plan. Steal a plan. I've shown my plans every single day on stream. You guys can see all these plans I talk about every single day. It's just the job is for you to just listen carefully. Listen carefully to what I'm talking about, and you can know exactly what half my playbook is, right? That's all you have to do. Spotify tomorrow, we'll see how that one moves around. Let's quickly go back to see what the bigger picture is on the large cap stocks. So QQQ pulling right back into the all-time high, at least the new all-time high that it created recently. But let's see if the market has enough juice to go through that area tomorrow and take some of these other positions with it, such as AMD, NVDA, maybe even take SMCI right into its all-time high also. You obviously got stocks like Apple, Microsoft, Meta, all of them joining the party to the north side, so you can continue to take a look at it. Microsoft pushing right back into all-time high again now, so that is a trade opportunity for people to take a look at. Meta to also join that party over there, pretty close to all-time high but not there yet. We're basically at the 52-week high at the moment, so watch out for Meta to join the party very soon. There you are. Watch out for Meta to join that party very soon. NVIDIA, we just talked about it, obviously. Coming back to SPY, which is not yet at its all-time high, but pretty close to NVIDIA, pretty close to S&P 500's all-time high. Right there, you can see the 479.98. Let's say 479, let's say 480, and move on with it. So pretty close to the all-time high over here on the SPY. Let's see if we can finally get there after having some good longs coming in. I guess I shouldn't even say good longs. Originally the market looked pretty damn weak. Later on, the market looked pretty damn strong. So let's see if the market can continue to be strong tomorrow and actually go test the all-time high. Let's see if the QQQ can help out the S&P 500 to go hit the all-time high. Whereas the IWM, sadly, still being the bearer of bad news, still being very, very weak and not doing what the rest of the markets are doing. The Dow Jones, I guess, recovering a little bit because Boeing obviously recovering. So shout out to Dow Jones on that one. The bigger picture right now, not really sure what the bigger picture is, but looks like the QQQ has strapped on its booster rockets and is getting ready to take off for the next separation stage and lift off into the stratosphere, at least out of the atmosphere, and go into Jupiter, Mars, and Uranus. You got the joke. All right. So watch out for the stock over here, and watch out for the market overall. All-time highs once again incoming for QQQ. We'll quickly show you what the economic calendar looks like before we move on to the last segment of the stream over here, which is we're gonna watch a 51-minute video. You know what? Special stream this weekend where we're gonna watch this video together, because I can't watch a 55-minute video right now. I got shit to do. I can't watch a 55-minute video. Okay, we're not watching that video. I got shit to do. So let's just take a look at the economic calendar right now. What's coming out tomorrow for the econ calendar? Nothing really at 8:30. Looks like we got some home numbers, so maybe stuff that could move around companies like Home Depot, Lennar, and so on. 10 o'clock, existing home sales coming out. Michigan consumer expectations. Now, those look like scary numbers to be careful for. That's all at 10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock, obviously a little bit of an important time period. 1 o'clock, another important time period. We got Atlanta numbers coming out. Fed Vice Chair Barr, not really any importance for that one, but looks like nothing really past that. Yeah, nothing really past that. So only 2 time periods tomorrow. Realistically, only 1. 1 o'clock, I don't really expect too much of movement, too much of volatility, but we are getting that 10 o'clock possible volatility with the Michigan numbers coming out, the 5-year inflation number, the 1-year inflation number, obviously the inflation, which is the hot topic on the FOMC's basket at the moment, trying to tame that beast called inflation. You got to be careful with how the Michigan sentiment comes out, how the Atlanta sentiment comes out, and if they come out bearish, or sorry, should I say hawkish and dovish. If it comes out bearish or bullish, then obviously be ready for those trade opportunities that set up over there. What do I think about the bigger picture tomorrow? Actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to briefing.com. Go to in-depth analysis. No, not in-depth. Okay, anyways, let's go to in-depth analysis real quick about this one. Close. What's this one? Let's see what they say. Hello? Okay, the stock market had a solid showing, blah blah blah. Semiconductor related names had an outsized impact, blah 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 blah. Yeah, see, like upbeat guidance triggered. I'm not buying it, dude. I'm not buying it. I think SMCI could pop into the all-time high tomorrow, or maybe in the coming week, but until it announces earnings, that's just fugazi. But I guess their guidance, they're upgrading their guidance. Basically, they're saying it's gonna be good, and that's gonna cause the move to the north side. I basically want to see the. There we go. Is this what I want to see? Yeah, broader market analysis, basically. Okay, the S&P 500 are up 14 points, are trading 0.3% above fair value, which is fine, I guess. The NASDAQ 100 futures are up 127 points and are trading 0.9% above fair value. How do you, who is calculating fair value, huh? Who the fuck is actually calculating this fair value? How are you calculating this fair value? I would love to know that. But apparently they're above 0.9% above fair value. I guess maybe they're using VWAP or something. I don't know. But above 0.9% above fair value. The Dow Jones Industrial is 81% and is trading 0.2% below fair value, probably because of Boeing, obviously. Pre-open gains in the mega cap stocks have been boosted. Futures tied to the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 are after the market started the week with the losses predicted on the notion that the Fed may not cut rates as soon or as much as the market hoped. We got the Fed Waller notes recently. I think it was on Tuesday. That brought the market down quite a bit at 11 o'clock. This rethink was partially related to strong economic data this week, so markets participants paid close attention to the morning releases of the weekly jobless claims reports and December housing starts and building permits at 8:30 p.m. Obviously, a lot of econ data came out for the last few days. Initial jobless claims for the week ended January 13 decreased 16,000 from last week, revised rate of whatever to 187,000. Continuing jobless claims for the week ended January decreased by 26,000. The key takeaway from the report is the labor market is still not showing sudden signs of stress, which could encourage Fed officials to maintain their hawkish rhetoric with respect to rate cut expectations. Basically, the job labor it needs to take a little bit of a stress for inflation to come down, because people are still making money, and money's still circulating, I guess, and they need to kind of cut the circulation. I kind of didn't really understand this back in the day. I'll be honest, I still don't understand this, but I forget who explained it to me. I think it was honestly Sharif on the show who explained it to me, that more jobs need to be lost for inflation to come down. I was like, okay, I'll just take your word for it. I'll understand it how you said it. And basically the job market, the labor market, not really getting affected too much, and that's in return hurting the market, in return making the Feds say comments like we might need to hold the rates longer, all of which has been pretty bearish. But boy, oh boy, do you call this a bearish move? I don't think so. I don't think so. The key takeaway, okay, also Philadelphia Fed manufacturing index rose to blank revised number. Treasury yields, they have been going higher. Treasury yields turned higher in response to data. The 2-year-old yielded at 4.3% just before 8 a.m. is now at 4.35% now, which is down 1 basis point from yesterday. The 10-year note yield at 4.09 before the data sits now at 4.12, which is now up 1 basis point from yesterday. Separately, the latest batch of earnings news have received mixed reactions. That's true. Taiwan Semiconductor is winning standout this morning because earnings beat morning after beating earnings estimate, while Discover Financial blah 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 losses and so on. So that is basically the broader picture, a quick little idea of what these guys are expecting. I guess this is for today. This is more specific for today. I would love to see what they write over here for tomorrow. I guess they'll post it at 9:07 a.m. maybe before 9:30. Oh, I hate my hiccups. They'll probably post it at 9:30 or so. So I'll be patient to see what they talk about, the broader, the big picture. There you go. We'll be rating per there you go. Oh, maybe we should just read this, the big picture. This was updated 11th of January though. We're now on the 18th of January. Q4 earnings bar is low, but valuation hurdle is high. Let's give this a quick read. It's a new year, and a new year in the stock market always starts with a look back and forth, blah, blah, blah. This would be fourth quarter. Actually, let's do this.
It is a new year, and a new year in the stock market always starts with a look back at the fourth quarter. That would be fourth quarter earnings, which are going to start trickling out in a steady fashion starting Friday, January 12th, and continuing, yes, through March. This earnings season gets dragged out with fiscal year-end reporting, so much so that the first quarter earnings season starts.
Is there no volume for this?
Quarter reporting period ends. For those of us covering the...
There's no volume for that? That sucks. All right, whatever. Anyone who wants to read this can read this. I'm just going to post a link over here. It is sadly time for me to call it for the night, ladies and gentlemen. I do have to get off stream. I got some stuff that I have to do today. So I will be calling it. Thank you, everyone who has come by for the day. Did I say for the night? Whatever, wherever you are, it might be day for you, might be night for you. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for spending some time with your boy TraderPrad. I appreciate everyone's love, everyone's support. You guys mean the world to me. You guys know all the fun stuff, the like, subscribe, the YouTube algorithm stuff. Please help me out with that if you can. If you think I deserve it. If not, no problem. I'll keep working hard and prove it to you one day that maybe you should hit that like button. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, go have a great weekend. Have an even better trading session tomorrow. If you were struggling this week like I am, don't worry. We're going to turn this bad boy around. We still got another week tomorrow. We still got another week next week to fight the market and make that money back. No revenge trading though, right? Make a plan, stick to the plan, trade the plan. You don't need to do anything other than that. For those of you who know about my watch list, you can subscribe to my watch list by supporting me on Patreon. Do !Patreon in the chat. My affiliate sponsors who keep the stream alive. Trade Ideas, TraderSync, and Benzinga. Go check them out. They also help me in my trading every single day. All the links are down below, and they're also along with all the social media links that you should probably check out if you want to stay in touch with TraderPrad. Everything that I do in trading, we stay active on Discord, we stay active on Twitter, we stay active on all social media basically. So hit me up on there. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go call it a night. I will see you next week, Monday, 8 o'clock. Ciao.